Okay, guys, let's get this party started. I want to welcome you to your Invincible Consultant Revenue Scaling Academy training. This is a private training which features 30 days to protecting your income by attracting higher paying clients using the Invincible Consultant model. And I'm thrilled. I don't know about you. I actually know about you. Let me correct my words. I know about you. You've come this far to get the training and to have something transformational happen. And I promise you I will not disappoint. Okay? So that being said, let's jump into this. And I want to start with a question. Are you ready to be the next success story? Right? And the answer has to be yes. If the answer is not yes, you've come too far into the wrong place. Okay? So the answer should be in your mind right now. When I ask, are you ready to be the next success story? The answer should be, yeah, I am. And if you can't remember what I mean by success story, I'm going to refresh your memory by telling you congratulations. And I want to remind you that, remember, you saw an ad online, or someone maybe referred you to this somewhere, somehow. You heard about this. And then you entered your name, you entered your phone number or email, for sure email, right? And you said, yeah, let me know about this. And fast forward between however many text messages or WhatsApp messages or WhatsApp groups that were created and invitations to a Facebook group, you sorted through all of that. You made it onto a webinar training of some sort. And then at some point you actually got on the phone, or I should say a Zoom meeting, and you watched and you learned and you listened and you asked questions, and then you decided, you know what, I actually want a live coaching session, and you got one. And after that you decided it was time to take the leap and pay for your course, right? That's a lot to go through to get here. And so you really want to be appreciating and applauding and acknowledging yourself for being that kind of person, because you don't make it this far unless you are intentional and focused and committed. And so I just want to say thank you, and I congratulate you on making it this far. And of course we've got a little ways to go, because we got some action to take, some implementing to do. But I just want you to take a deep breath and acknowledge yourself for how far you've come. Okay? All right. So to illustrate this decision that you made, I want to remind you, remember that slide that I showed you when you were first learning about this, and I talked about how you could be the guy on the left, right? The consultant on the left. And of course, if you're a gal as well, right? Some equivalent of that on the left, or you can be the person on the right, right? When it comes to the kind of decisions that you're making and the kind of future that you have with respect to your marketing, with respect to your consulting, coaching, your subject matter expertise practice. And I said, you decide. But since then and now, you decided, right? And what you decided was that you wanted to not be like the guy on the left, but instead be the guy on the right. Okay? And that's what I'm congratulating you for. In addition to everything that I said, I'm also congratulating you for making that decision. So I also want to remind you that you chose between three futures, right? And those three futures, now you're remembering, right? You're like, wow, yeah, I remember seeing this. Right? You remember there was one future one, which was filled with failure and indecision and trying harder and freaking out and running out of money and being out of business. And you said, most of you, if not all of you, were like, I don't want future one. And then I showed you future two, and future two were full of the people who are the wingers, I call them, right? Or the trial and error specialists. And you said you didn't want to struggle. You didn't want to be Google searching and YouTube searching for solutions. You didn't want to just jump on other webinars trying to figure this out. You didn't want to waste any more money trying to figure it out on your own. And you didn't want to do this trial and error thing, You wanted something that was guaranteed, right? And I showed you future 3, which was all about winning, and the winners, the ones that are decisive, the ones that get the help that they needed, the ones that invest in themselves, the ones that go to work right away, and the ones that see results and scale. And I would almost say everyone was in agreement that they were on the path of future 1 or future 2, right? But they didn't want future 1 or future 2. They wanted future 3. And as a result, they decided that they were going to take that next step and get on a coaching call or do something that would get them to the next level. And so you've chosen your future by being here and watching this right now. I want you to just think about that. I showed you 3 futures and you chose the one that you wanted. And that's why you're here. And I don't want you to ever forget that. Before you think, oh, when are we going to get to the training? No. Trust me, the training is easy. Remembering who you are when things get tough and challenging, that can be very, very difficult. And I'm reminding you up front, before things get challenging, because they will, that you chose a future of future 3. You made the decision. You're getting the help that you need. You invested in yourself by buying the program. And you're getting to work right away by watching this. And now all that's left is for you to see the results of your own work and then scaling out from there. And so this is the future that you chose, and this is the future that we're living in right now as we move forward. Are you up for that? I am too. So let's do this. Here's exactly what you paid for. And I'm not even going to show all of it, but I'm going to give you a hint. Okay? So the 30-day marketing clinic, right? That's what this comes down to, is made up of 4 weeks. You can, depending on when you're catching this, you can do this in a 30-day period or less. We can do it over a 6-week or 8-week or whatever period, but the content will be delivered and released and available to you to participate in over a 30-day window, or it's recommended that you implement this over a 30-day window. Give yourself some time. And what happens over these next 4 weeks as you are participating in this program is going to be so eye-opening and remarkable. You'll just scratch your head wondering, like, where have you been, right? So these 4 weeks, also referred to as the 4-step revenue boosting blueprint, because exactly just as it says there, the blueprint that you'll see as far as how this is laid out will boost your revenue. And it always begins with an unhappy state, and we get to work and we start to do what's called preparation. And after the preparation, we start to plan, and after the planning, we start to perform, and after the performance, we begin to prevail, and specifically scale. Okay, so those are the 4 things we focus on over the next 4 weeks. And along with that comes a fantastic experience of being able to hit the target and be thrilled and happy that you took these steps. And it starts with watching your social media blueprint, right? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Right? Now, one thing I do have to say, this is all based on a reverse engineering model. We're not looking to reinvent the wheel. We're looking to see who the winners are in your industry or in your niche, identify what it is that they're doing that keeps them at the head of the pack, and emulate that, right? And then of course add your twist to it in order for you to accelerate it for you. Okay, so social media footprint, we look at yours, and we look at your what I call your cohort or your competitor, although I really don't like to think of others as competition, because I really feel like when you carve out your own lane, there's no one that can compete with you, right? So your cohorts, competition for lack of a better term, we look at their footprint, their social media footprint, and we look at yours. Okay, then we identify what the technological requirements are to be able to do what they do, right? Or to maybe even surpass what they do. And that begins with whether they have a website, an autoresponder, any chat mechanisms on their website, you name it, right? All these things that they're doing, what does it take for you to do it, right? What technological requirements are necessary? Then we look at what's called the scope of work document, which is a blueprint featured in a Google Doc. You will have a copy of yours shortly if you don't already have it, or my assistant will get it to you. And that document spells out everything, right? It just breaks down all these steps and walks you through how you should see it all implemented, right? So then we get to week 2, where we analyze your competition or your cohorts, right? And we look at what, how they do what they do, what results they're producing, and get a sense for how to really match or exceed their footprint, right? Or something equivalent to their footprint, because you don't necessarily need or want their customers. You have your own people who recognize your voice in the marketplace. After we do that analysis, we map out what it's going to take for you to create your version of what they're doing till the end, right? For you to produce the result you want. And then we build a funnel, right? Based on the map that you just saw, that you just heard about. And that funnel, of course, includes a landing page, autoresponders, automatic emails, all those things combined, okay? And that's week 2. Week 3, we run your campaign, your digital marketing campaign in the form of a Facebook ad, okay? And or depending on what platforms we identify will be the most sort of where the barrier of entry is the lowest, right? For you to enter based on your budget, we got to run a campaign for you, right? So right now, tentatively, Facebook is the most sort of lowest barrier of entry, and for our learning curve wise as well, to be able to just get some business going, okay? So we can use that platform. So after you run your campaign, that campaign will lead you to some situation where you're running a live presentation, okay? And along with that live presentation are opportunities for you to register people, okay? Register people into your program, have them buy. And along with that, if there isn't enough of that activity or some aspects of that activity that are not working as well as you'd like, we test and we tweak and we track, right? Those changes until we get the kind of results that we're looking for as far as conversions. And then we manage those conversions, right? Any place that people are getting stuck, we support you in making sure that each person that's coming on board knows what the next step is that they need to be headed towards. And then by week 4, we scale your ad spend. Okay, so we look at how much you're spending, and then we identify where else and how else we can magnify the results. Okay, and then at that point, you should have a track record of some results to show, and we can begin to increase prices. Right, so if your program was $500, you can increase it to $1,000. If it was $1,000, you can increase it to $2,000. If it was $2,000, you can increase it to $4,000. Right? Whatever the proportions are is up to you, but we definitely recommend that by week 4 you start increasing your prices, or at least begin discussing it, mentioning it, and then of course not too long after that, take action. Creating ascension offers. At some point people will say, hey, look, you're doing a remarkable job with this part of my business. How can we how can we get you to support us with other elements, right? And if you've done your job, you also have a sense of what's next for your client. So creating ascension offers is really just that. It's about helping them ascend to whatever that next level is. It could be a mastermind group. It could be another program that you offer. At the end of the day, you got to have something else to be able to offer them, right? In order for this long term to be sustainable for you. And then lastly, we talk about managing your coaching, right? With a learning management system. See, the thing is, you don't want to always be in front of people's face talking to your blue in the face, right? You don't want to always be doing live teaching or training or coaching sessions, right? Some of these things can be captured in the form of a video, just like this one that you're watching, and uploaded into a learning platform. Depending on where you're seeing this might be already in there. But even if it's not, there's a destination where this video is headed, and perhaps even is as you're watching this that's in a learning management platform. Okay, and that's where your client or prospects, but really ideally your clients, are going to log into to be able to watch and learn and hear about you, your wisdom, and in the training, right? Because you just can't afford to have all your time sucked away doing these live trainings with all the people that you are encountering. Okay, so you got to have a systematic way of teaching and sharing what you know without having it be draining and for you to be live to do it. Okay, so this is what you paid for, right? All of this coming together, all of the coaching, the structure, the support, the servicing, the one-on-one coaching sessions, the PDFs that come with this, the audios, you name it, right? Access to, of course, yours truly. It's all in here for whatever handsome price you paid to be here. Okay, and I am more than happy and glad. I'm thrilled to have you here and ready to engage and ready to see the magic unfold before you, right? With what we will be doing over these next 30 days. So let's go to the next thing here. So let's start bringing this home. So we're talking about the 10 digital accounts you need to boost your coaching revenue or consulting income now. Okay, and these 10 digital accounts you need are really they're fairly simple. Some of them you probably have already heard of, but you've never thought perhaps to assemble them the way that I'm going to show you that you can assemble them in order for you to have a business modeled after the Invincible Consultant Academy, right? Or the Invincible Consultant model, right? So as a refresher, just to show you what that Invincible Consultant model consists of, let's have a trip down memory lane and remember what it looks like, all right? So hang on one second. Okay, so let's break it down. Remember, the one thing that this all comes down to is your Invincible Consultant implementation model, okay? So the first area that we're looking at is the superior subject matter value, okay? Now, there's aspects of this. We'll get deeper into it in the series to come, in the videos ahead, but superior subject matter expertise and value, you know, from how important is your subject matter to the marketplace, how important are you, how are you viewed as a subject matter expert when it comes to that subject matter in the marketplace, right? And how valuable is it, right? Very critical questions to ask and pose. So the next thing we're looking at here is the superior sales skills and conversion, right? How are you able to have people join you if you don't have the superior sales skills, the ability to present your offer, your information, who you are, what you're about, how you do what you do, in a way that has someone say, why haven't we hired this person already? Okay, that's super important. And then the third thing, of course, is superior marketing system, right? For you to be able to have a way that you perpetually are able to attract the right people towards you, that you can have those sales conversations with, right? Who also are willing to have those conversations with you because they do see you as a subject matter expert, someone worth listening to and considering listening to, because the subject matter that you know is something that's sometimes a matter of life or death for them, right? Or their business thriving or collapsing. So these three things combined are where the magic and mystical part of your future lives. When it all comes together, that centerpiece is where all the money is, right? When all these three pieces come together and they're all hitting on all pistons, this is where everything that you've always wanted lives. All right? And if you're not able to sort this out, you're going to have some problems, but that's not why you're here. You're here because we can assist you in being able to put this all together so you don't have problems. Okay? All right. So I want to remind you, all this past year, in the heat of the coronavirus, there were some things that we were doing. And by the time some of you are watching this, this is almost about exactly a parallel year ago, right? And this is what we were working through. In March, everything was shut down, all the lockdowns, and I mean, it was just an insane time. Nobody knew whether they were coming or going, and there was nothing happening, okay? And of course, if some of you already remember, we did start to assemble this very model that you're learning, and we saw some results, right? And then by the next month, we saw these other results. Now, I want to caution you and say that I'm not promising you that these are going to be your results. I'm showing you how this model works and how they produced results, okay? So, along with this is something super critical, which is that, you know, if your offer is, let's just say $500 or $1,000, it's going to vary, right? On a magnitude of those figures, okay? If your product, your offer is a 10,000 product offer, then, you know, your gross volume in month 1 will be like 10,000, right? So it's up to you depending on what your numbers are looking like. And so this is just showing you what this product looked like, because this product was based on a $500 or $1,000, okay? So those are the numbers. And then of course, you know, sometime later, as I continue to track those numbers, these are what they became since, you know, that end of May period, right? Jumped up by another 132,000, okay? And of course, another sort of shot giving you a bigger picture. More amazing things happen, leading to a little over $200,000 in gross volume. And of course, clients wise and students that participated in their course and their program, and their sort of one-on-one coaching, numbered into 300, over 300, right? And then lastly, of course, there was another, looking back over the whole year, there was some, you know, obvious growth since the beginning of the year, right, where everything was flattened, which originally was when nothing was happening. I was brought on board sometime in February, April, just to begin to look at what was going on and begin to assemble a model. So fast forward, of course, in the end, about 400 or so customers were attracted, and that's what it looked like, right? And everything really magically, powerfully worked out. It wasn't super magical, but it was just more that we put the work in until it worked out, okay? And so the question as before is, and you know, this is a different version of the question that you've heard before, which is, isn't it time to achieve similar results, right? And this is that time. So going into this next slide, this is our time to do that, and then here's how we do it. So you're going to have some version of these 10 accounts, maybe more, maybe less, depending on how sophisticated your model is. And over the next 4 weeks, in week 1, us, we're going to look at your social media, okay? We're going to look at what you got on LinkedIn. We're going to look at if you have an Instagram account, if that's relevant. We're going to look at if you have Facebook and if that's relevant, and any other social media platforms that your prospects are spending their time on, okay? As well as the ones that your cohort or competitor uses to attract and acquire customers. That's the first account, right? And that's all lumped in, right? As in, social media accounts count as 1, okay? The next set of accounts that you'll need, or account in this case, is a Linktree account. This is important, and for reasons we'll get deeper into, because you need a link that gives your prospects some choices or options as far as what to access, right? And they all need to be what we call, at least you have to have represented in here, what's called top of funnel type content, okay? Top of funnel content meaning, you know, for people who are hearing about you for the first time, it should have some things for them. For people who are hearing about you or already know about you, it should also have some links in there for them. And for the people that love you and adore you, it should also have something in there for them, okay? And we walk you through that. But Linktree is very, very powerful for that. Third thing you're going to need is a Google account or Google Drive. Very, very helpful to be able to have something like that, to be able to keep and concentrate all the documents that are going to come up over the course of this program and training, right? We don't have time to chase paper, in all kinds of corners and drop boxes or any of that. We want to have some place, we don't want to just go to multiple cloud storage situations. We want to choose one. So if you want to go the Dropbox route, fantastic. If you want to go the drive route, even better. Okay, so you need some kind of cloud storage available to you. Week 2, we talk about landing pages and analyzing your competitor, right? But what gets implemented and set up is some landing page tool, right, that you have access to or want to use, so that prospects have a place to come and learn more about you, right? And then what you're also going to need is a MailChimp account or some version of a autoresponder account, which you see below. Aweber is an example of one. Constant Contact is another. HubSpot is another, right? And we can go on, right? But at the end of the day, you need one of these in order for you to have this work for you, okay? So that's in week 2 that tool gets implemented. By week 3, we're talking about your Facebook Ads Manager, which is different than just Facebook. Facebook Ads Manager account is what you'll need. And that's connected right back and drives traffic right back to your Facebook page or Instagram. Those 2 places is where you belong, right, when it comes to running your Facebook ads. The LinkedIn is a different entity by itself, but the arrow is just generally pointing to the fact that whatever your ad platform is, it's got to drive traffic to your profile in a way, and or using, of course, your likeness to be able to sell a product, okay? And then the other thing that needs to happen in week 3 is really some coaching around how to set up a Zoom call for your prospects, okay? Or whatever it is you want to create that gives your prospects an opportunity to hear you, see you, and learn and understand about your product, who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and how you can do it for them. And then we must set up, in order for you to collect funds, you've got to have PayPal or Stripe or there's a tool called TransferWise. Whatever it is, you got to have a way that you are able to receive money when it's showtime, okay? And people are coming on board and want to decide to work with you. We help you set that up. And then for your clients who do choose to work with you, they're going to need a calendar system, the same way that you've used a calendar system with us for us to schedule those calls that you booked, and have an agreed upon time where there's reminders that are being sent for preparation to your client. And so a tool like this comes in extraordinarily handy, especially because in some cases you don't have time to enter people's information in a calendar event, right? You want them to be able to do that on their own. By week 4, where we are now looking to scale your ads, increase your prices, and of course manage your information. And the easiest way to do that is to begin to have your information housed, right, on a learning management system platform like Kajabi or Thinkific, or what's the other one that I was just thinking about? Goodness, I'm drawing a blank on it. But when it hits me, I'll come back with it. But basically, it's all learning platforms, right? And you've got to be able to, create an account, add students to it or clients to it, where they can learn on their own at their own pace, the same way you're learning now, by watching a video, downloading a PDF, filling in that PDF, and bringing it to the next coaching call, right? If you have to track all of that, you would lose your mind. So don't do that, okay? You need to set this up quickly, right? Use all your content and have it be uploaded and available for those who come on board with you to have access to it. Okay, so these 10 accounts, right, or styles of accounts, are going to be very essential for you to thrive using this Invincible consultant model, right? It's just a must. Like, you need a profile where people can find about you. You need a link tree. You need a place to store all your stuff. You need a landing page and an autoresponder. You need Facebook ads to be run. And you need to be able to present to people via something like a Zoom or Zoom itself. You need to make sure you get paid. That's number 8. You need to make sure that those who pay you know exactly how to book a call so they can pay you. And then for week 4, we need to house all your information for you, for your clients, for your students, in a place where they can access it when you're not available and not around, and maybe even sometimes not even in the mood to teach, right? So they gotta have a place to go and get that. Fair? Awesome. So these are the 10 accounts. And if you're not overwhelmed, and even if you are, it's okay. I want you to remember this. These are the 4 phases of Invincible marketing, right? And they will remind you of, once you assemble all those things, right, with our help, we will help you implement these 4 phases of Invincible marketing. So targeted ads, right? We'll help you write targeted ads online that thrill, okay? Presentation. We will help you create the presentation that you need to have in order for your clients to say yes to you. This is that second circle, right, of communication. Thirdly, we're talking about application. So when somebody watches a presentation, there's got to be a place for them to apply, to work with you, right? And that might include, of course, buying a product. So third is application. And then the 4th is selection, okay? Picking out of all the applications who you want to work with. This is the front end. This is the simple part. This is the part that has you think back to the 10 steps that I showed you and go, whew, all I need is to do these 4 things? Yeah, but these 4 things require all those things I just showed you on the back end, right? But it's worth it, okay? You just have to stick with me and we can make this work. So between your ads and your presentation, remember that you will need MailChimp, okay? And you'll need a series of emails between that MailChimp and the time that when they opted in to be able to send them mail, right? And forward and message them in a way that thrills and inspires them, that has them say, wow, this is some great and amazing stuff. And we show you how to inspect what you expect, making sure those emails are getting to where they need to be and are being opened, and in some cases are being clicked through, right? That's all part of this, because it doesn't matter if your ads are running and people are liking it and it's supposedly out the in, but they don't like what you have on the home front to support them. They will leave and unsubscribe and be mad at you, okay? We don't want that. So again, as I mentioned, if it's not MailChimp, you can use Aweber, you can use Constant Contact, you can use whatever you're already using. The idea is still the same, okay? All right, so recapping, right? Just remember, this is how it plays out, okay? Just that simple. Okay? So of course you will not be doing this alone. We are here for you. It is help with implementation. Okay? It's help with having you assemble and bring it all together. And that's the best part of this whole thing. So for those of you who are of course already on the inside, gotten started, we're due for you to schedule your next coaching session. And the way you want to do that is use the resource link below. That'll get you to one of the calendar tools so you can schedule your coaching session with us. And we will go over how to start implementing this. We'll go over your Google document, which is what we call our Hub and Spoke document. And that document will make sure that you are tuned in, plugged in. You always know what we're doing on our part, on our end to support you, and we also know what you're doing on your part to support you. That document is what we'll go over in the next session, and make sure that you are really, really equipped to handle the next 30 days, right, with grace and ease and anticipation of the great results you're going to produce. All right, guys, appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. And this is Boo Madu signing off with the Invincible Consultant Academy. Take care, guys.